The moment my son threw my suitcase on the front porch, I knew 12 years of being quiet was going to be the best choice I ever made. I stood there in my nice Sunday clothes watching my own son lock me out like old trash. He did not know that old trash was about what made that trash so valuable. It was a secret nobody guessed. $8 million. If you are watching this, please subscribe and tell me where you are watching from. Let me tell you how a 60-year-old man went from having no home to owning the fanciest house in Crestwood Estates. Because friend revenge is not a cold meal. It is best when you are very successful. My name is Robert Sullivan, but everyone calls me Rob. At 72, I have learned that the best thing is not just proving people wrong, but making them sorry they ever doubted you. And boy did my son John and his wife Victoria give me lots to prove. It was October 15th, 2012 when my world broke. I had been living with John and Victoria for 3 months after my wife died. I helped with their 2 little kids while I tried to figure out what to do next. The life insurance money was not much, and I thought family helps family in hard times. "Dad, we need to talk," John said that morning, his voice cold like ice. Victoria stood behind him, arms crossed with that mean look I hated. At 33, she had sharp, pretty looks that hurt people. "What is wrong, son?" I asked, putting my coffee cup on their nice counter. I helped them buy that counter with my Social Security money last year. "This is not working anymore," Victoria said, stepping forward like she owned the talk. "You are too stuck in your ways, Rob. The kids do not know who is the boss." I looked at John, waiting for him to help me. He should remember I raised him alone after his mom left when he was 8. But he looked away like I was a stranger, asking for money. "Where will I go?" I asked, my voice small. "That is not our problem," Victoria said, shrugging like it was nothing. "You are a grown man. Figure it out." 20 minutes later, all my life fit in 2 suitcases and 1 cardboard box. 60 years of memories, photos, and special things, all in what I could carry. The rest would go to Goodwill, Victoria told me, happily like she was helping me. "Do not make this harder," John mumbled, putting my bags on the porch. For 1 second I saw the little boy who cried when I left for work. Then Victoria came beside him and his face went blank. The taxi came as rain started to fall. I got in without looking back, not because I was strong, but because I was broken. As we drove away, I saw Victoria in the window already changing my room. I had $847 in my pocket, no job, no place to live. What I did not have was any idea this shame would become the power for the biggest comeback ever. The Oakwood Inn on Route 9 became my home for 6 weeks. It was not fancy at all. $43 a night for a room that smelled bad, but it had a roof and a lock. After being thrown away like trash, even that felt good. The old man at the desk, Mr. Henderson, felt bad for me after 1 week. "You are not like our other guests," he said, giving me an extra towel. Most guests were workers or people hiding. I was hiding from the truth. My son threw me away. Those first mornings were hardest. I would wake up in that small bed, forgetting where I was. Then real life hit me hard. No kids laughing, no breakfast to make, just me and the broken air conditioner that sounded like a dying animal. But here is what Victoria and John did not know. I am not a man who stays down. Never was. When John was young and we had nothing, I worked 3 jobs. I cleaned offices at night, sold things in stores during the day, and fixed clothes on weekends. Being poor was not new to me. I just forgot how good I was at fighting. First thing I did was go to the library every morning. Free computer, free cool air, and job listings. At 60, nobody wanted to hire me, but I did not want help. I wanted a chance. "You know bookkeeping?" asked Mark Henderson, owner of Henderson's Nursery. He was my age, with dirt on him, and a tough attitude I liked. 20 years, I said. I did all money stuff for my wife's business. I did not say I saw 3 ways he was losing money in 10 minutes. His list of plants was messy. He paid too much for plants, and his prices were old. "Pay is low," Mark warned. $15 an hour part-time. "When do I start?" That first check was $240, and I felt like I won a prize. After 6 weeks of watching my money disappear, earning money again felt like breathing after being underwater. The motel room slowly became like a home. I bought a small coffee maker, hung my few photos, and got 1 plant for the window. If this was my life, I would live it with pride. 3 months later, I found something important. Mark was throwing away thousands of dollars in plants every year. Plants not sold by end of season went to trash. "This is how business works," he said, like it was normal. But I saw something else. I saw chance. Was this idea smart or crazy? Would it work or fail? You want to do what with dead plants? Mark asked like I was crazy. They are not dead, I said. They are sleeping. With care, most can wake up and sell next year. This was month 8. I moved from motel to a small room above Tonem Pizza. Rent was $650 a month. After food, I had about $50 left, but it was mine. No one could kick me out. Mark let me take 3 truckloads of dead plants in November, probably to teach me a lesson, but it taught me I had a gift I did not know. My small room became full of plants. Every window, every corner had pots. Every window, every corner had pots. I learned about plants on library computers, watched videos, and spent nights fixing brown plants. Neighbors thought I was crazy. Mrs. Garcia downstairs asked if I was doing something bad. Too many plants, she said in broken English, when I carried pots up. But by February, something magic happened. Green shoots came. Buds grew. My room turned into a jungle of healthy plants. I had over 200 plants, and 150 were good as new. Rob, what is this? Mark said, when I brought plants back in March. They look better than new. Told you they were not dead, I said, hiding my smile. Inside, I was very happy. This was not just proving a point. I found a talent that made money. Mark bought all plants for half price. In one day, I made $847 more than my first month's pay. But best of all, I found purpose again. Next year, we made a deal. Mark saved unsellable plants for me. I fixed them in winter, and we split money in spring. It was not a big company, but it was mine. People in town started talking. That guy at Henderson's can fix any plant, they said. Soon other plant stores called asking me to fix their plants too. By year 2, I made more from fixing plants than bookkeeping. I moved to a bigger room with a balcony and used Tonem parking lot for plants with his. Okay, best part, every plant I saved showed being thrown away does not mean worthless. Some things need care and the right person to see their chance. John and Victoria threw me away thinking I would die. Instead, I was growing in places they never knew. Year 3, I stopped thinking small. I had many stores wanting me to fix plants. My room operation was too small. Landlord charged extra for plant water, and Tonem got tired of people asking to buy plants in his lot. You need a real place, Mark told me. He was right, but a real place needed money I did not have. My savings was $15,000 a lot after having nothing, but not enough for a big space. That is when I met Diane Carter at the Small Business Center. Diane was smart and saw chance from far away. You are not in plant-fixing business, she said, looking at my numbers. You turn trash into money. That is different. Diane helped me see what I missed. I was not just fixing plants. I was solving a big problem. Plant stores threw away millions every year because they did not know how to handle old plants. What if you teach others, Diane said. Take part of their money and grow big. The idea scared me, but excited me too. Me, a 63-year-old man who was homeless 3 years ago running a national business. But Diane's numbers were hard to ignore. We spent 6 months making a plan. I would get a real place in Crestwood, perfect the fixing way. Write it all down, and then teach others across the country. The loan paper was 47 pages long. I almost quit 3 times, but Diane helped me fill it out. She helped me say why this was not just a hobby. It was a real answer to a real problem. Mr. Sullivan, your money numbers seem too good, the loan man said. Sir, I said, leaning forward like I proved people wrong before. 3 years ago I lived in a motel with less than $1,000. Last year I turned $50,000 in dead plants into $200,000. My record speaks for itself. The $150,000 loan came on a Tuesday in March. I signed papers in Diane's office, hands shaking because I was now in charge of more money than I ever had. In 6 months I rented a big 5,000 square foot building, hired 2 part-time workers, and made deals with 15 plant stores in 3 states. Titan Renewal Systems, because everything deserves a second chance, was born. The joke was not lost on me. My son threw me away thinking I was worthless. Now I built a company, proving nothing is worthless if you see its chance. By year 5, Titan Renewal Systems grew bigger than I dreamed. We worked in 12 states, had 47 workers, and I signed a deal with Lowe's store. The sad broken man thrown out was now flying to meetings in Atlanta. Mr. Sullivan, your story is what our business needs, said David Miller from Lowe's as we walked their store. Turning trash into money while helping Earth. That is the future. I smiled politely, still getting used to being treated like an expert, not a problem. It was not easy. Many 18-hour days, failed tries and times. I wondered if I was in too deep, but every problem taught me new things about business, myself, and what I could do. My life got better too. I moved to a nice 2-bedroom apartment in Crestwood's old part with a garden to test new plant ways. I made real friends, not people who had to be nice to me. My weekly card games with Diane and 3 other guys became my favorite time. The money success was amazing even to me. Titan Renewal Systems made over $2 million a year, and my own money was over $1 million. I kept careful lists, not because I loved money, but because the numbers meant something bigger: freedom. "Did you think about going to other countries?" asked Marcus Johnson, my lawyer. "We got calls from Canada and England. One step at a time," I said, though the idea was fun. I want to do this right first. Truth was, I already thought about next steps. Fixing plants taught me there are good chances hiding everywhere, if you know how to look. I started putting money in other small businesses using the same idea, finding hidden value and helping it grow. But best happiness came from personal wins, like hiring Mike Torres, a 19-year-old nobody believed in, but who knew plants well. Or when Mark Henderson, who gave me my first chance, sold his store and became my worker in Florida. "You changed how I see what is possible," Mark told me at his party. "Watching you build this from nothing made half the men in town take chances they never would." I started a book of lessons learned, partly for workers, but mostly for me. Biggest lesson: never let others decide your worth. John and Victoria said I was useless, a burden they could not carry. They threw me away without thinking. What they did not know was they gave me the push to become what they never thought I could be. Every deal signed, every new place opened, every win proved they were very wrong, and honestly I was just starting. House hunting began as a need and became sweet revenge. After 5 years in apartments, I needed more space for my businesses and money. What I found was the perfect way to tell Crestwood Robert Sullivan was not a man you could throw away. The Winston House, Diane Walsh. My house seller said when I asked, "Rob, that house has not been for sale in 40 years. It is the fanciest address in Crestwood Estates." Crestwood Estates, the place John and Victoria always wanted but could not afford. The place they drove through Sundays dreaming about while living in their small house, the mortgage they kicked me out to pay. "Is it for sale?" I asked. "Yes," but Diane hesitated. "It costs $4.2 million. Let us see it." The Winston House was even better than I thought. 12,000 square feet of beautiful house on 8 acres of nice land. Big bedroom with fireplaces, a library with tall wood shelves, a kitchen that could feed many people, and a glass room full of plants attached to the house. But what really made me buy it was the view from the big bedroom window. You could see all of Crestwood below, including the neighborhood where John and Victoria lived. Every morning I could wake up and look down on the people who looked down on me. "The sellers want to sell fast," Diane said, showing me the wine room. "They moved to Florida and want quick sale. Cash offer," I said fast. $3.8 million, close in 2 weeks. Diane almost dropped her bag. "Rob, are you sure that is a big deal?" I was sure. Titan Renewal Systems made enough money to pay the house payments easily. My other money was big enough. I could pay for the house without using business money. But more than that, I could pay because I earned every penny with my smart thinking, hard work, and never giving up. Sellers said yes to my offer in 6 hours. 2 weeks later, I stood in the big front room of my new home, holding keys, trying not to laugh at how crazy it was. 6 years before, I slept in a motel with less than $1,000. Now I owned the fanciest house in the county. The moving truck came next morning. My old furniture looked silly in such big rooms. I needed to buy new things, but that was a happy problem. I spent my first evening on the big back deck, watching sunset paint the sky pink and gold over my 8 acres. The quiet was deep. No car noise, no neighbors fighting. Just peace, space, and the very happy feeling of reaching a goal. My phone buzzed with a text from Diane. "Saw house sale in paper. You amazing man. Champagne party this weekend." I smiled, typing back. "Bring good stuff. We toast to new starts." What I did not type but thought was some starts need ends. And I felt the end with John and Victoria was about to get very interesting. Tomorrow I would start filling my new life. Tonight I would just enjoy the view from the top. Who was at the door? It was the last people he wanted to see. Doorbell rang at 9:17. Saturday morning, exactly 24 hours after house sale in paper. I was in my new kitchen, still finding coffee cups when I heard the bell sound in my big front room. On the security screen. Because yes, my house had a security system better than a bank. I saw them on my front porch like salesmen. John looked older gray, at temples wearing nice pants and shirt that said Weekend Dad, trying hard. Victoria stood beside him in fancy jeans and jacket that cost more than my first month's rent at toning. Behind them were two teenagers I barely knew. Caroline, now 16, had her mom's sharp looks, but not her mean eyes. Tommy, 14, looked like tall John at that age, back when he built blanket forts and brought me flowers. I took my time walking to door bare feet, quiet on warm floor. 6 years of quiet, and they come the day they find I am rich. Timing was so predictable. It was funny. Well, well, I said, opening door, but not screen. John, Victoria, kids. I barely know. I looked at them slowly, seeing Victoria's perfect makeup and John's nervous moves. What do you want, Dad? John's voice broke a little. We read about house and paper. We wanted to say good job. How nice. I did not ask them in. Good job, said. Anything else? Victoria stepped forward with that fake smile I knew. Rob, we know things ended bad. We thought, and we see we did wrong, 6 years ago. Did wrong, I said slow. Is that what we call it? Caroline moved uncomfortable behind parents. Grandpa Rob, I barely remember you, but Mom and Dad said you made great cookies. Her simple words hurt more than parents' fake sorry. She was right. She barely remembered me because they stole 6 years from us. 6 years of birthdays, school plays, bedtime stories gone. I did make good cookies, I said soft, looking at Caroline. Then I was thrown out like trash. Dad, please, John begged. Can we come in talk? Talk about what? Victoria's fake face slipped, showing the smart woman under. We are family, Rob. Family sticks together. Especially when she waved at Mansion. There is room for everyone. There it was real reason for visit as subtle as a hammer. Room for everyone, I said. How handy you remember family now. I have 12,000 square feet. That is not fair, John said, but his eyes were checking my house inside. We missed you, I laughed, really laughed at how silly it was. John, son, you threw me out with 2 suitcases and a box. Victoria said I was too stuck, and figuring out my life was not your problem. Now you miss me. Silence stretched until Tommy spoke. Dad. What is he talking about? Why not come in? I said, stepping back. Since you love family so much. I led them through front room past shiny light and stairs into living room with big windows. I watched their faces see silk walls, fancy rugs, art worth more than cars. This place is amazing, Tommy said, walking to windows. Mom, look at pool. Victoria was looking hard. I could see her counting rooms and value. It is very big, she said, careful. Too big for one person. Is it? I sat in my favorite chair, navy blue velvet, I bought for this room. I like having space to breathe. John sat on sofa edge, like scared to wrinkle it. Dad, about 6 years ago we had much stress. New house payment, my job was shaky. Victoria worked full-time with 2 kids. So you made your widowed father homeless. I finished. Very smart. We thought you would figure it out. Victoria said strong. You are so strong, so independent. We never thought you would be in a motel. I raised eyebrow. You never thought because you never checked. Caroline looked at family photo on table 1 of few I kept. It showed John young, maybe 8, on my lap while I read. Dad, you were small, she said. That was after your mom left, I told her. You and I lived alone 10 years. I worked 3 jobs, kept us going. Made sure you had school things, drove you to baseball practice every Tuesday, Thursday. I looked at John. I thought that meant something. It did mean something, John said quiet. It means everything. That is why we are here. No, I said strong. You are here because you want something. Will you be honest or keep pretending about family? Victoria's patience was gone. Fine, she snapped. Yes, we need help. John lost job 3 months ago. We are late on house payment. Caroline needs money for college. Happy now, very happy, I said dry. Now we get somewhere. John jumped in, shooting Victoria a look. We thought you have all this space and we have house trouble. You want to move in? It was not a question. For short time, Victoria added fast. Just until John finds job. Maybe 6 months, 1 year. I looked around my calm, beautiful room, then at people who threw me away when I was not useful. Let me see if I get this. You want to move all your family into my house because you have money trouble. We are family, John said like magic words. Family, I said. Is that what you called it when you locked me out? When you said figuring out my life was not your problem? Silence broken only by old clock ticking. Finally, Tommy spoke again. What happened 6 years ago? Why no one tells truth? I looked at teens, these grandchildren stolen from me, and made a choice. Sit down, I told them. Both of you. Time you know what kind of people your parents really are? Dad, do not, John warned. But I held up hand. Caroline, Tommy, 6 years ago, your grandma died. I was 60, recently lost wife. Needed place to stay while I figured next steps. Your parents asked me to live with them. For 3 months I helped with kids. I gave my Social Security money to house and tried not to bother. Caroline and Tommy listened, serious faces. Then one morning your mom said I was too stuck, and I must leave. Right away your dad packed my things in 2 suitcases, put me on porch. I had $847 and no place to go. That is not how it happened, Victoria said, strong. You messed with our parenting, hurt our power with kids. I made them breakfast, I said, simple, and said say please, thank you. Seems that hurt your power. Tommy looked confused. But where did you go? What did you do? I lived in Motel 6 weeks, then small room above pizza place. I worked part-time at plant store for $15 an hour. I smiled at memory. Best thing ever happened to me. How is being homeless best thing? Caroline asked. Because it taught me I did not need anyone. I could take care of myself fine. I waved at room. Better than fine, as you see. Victoria got mad. This is old news, Rob. We want to move on, fix our family. No, I cut in. You want to fix your bank account? Big difference. I pulled phone, showed text I got that morning. This is from Nancy Torres' friend who works at job office. She saw a name she knew. I looked at John. You did not lose job 3 months ago. You got fired 6 months ago for lying on expense reports. John's face went white. How did you? I know things, John. I know Victoria got 3 new credit cards last year and filled them with fancy clothes, spa days. I know you changed your house loan twice to pay for Italy trip. I know you are not just late on house payment, you might lose house next month. Room went quiet. I also know, I went on, you drove by my motel every day for 6 months after you threw me out. You knew where I lived, how hard it was, and never stopped to see if I was okay. Caroline's eyes filled with tears. Dad, is that true? John could not look at daughter. Victoria switched to attack. Fine, we made mistakes. So did you. You could have asked for help instead of gone quiet 6 years. I laughed. Ask help from people who said figuring out my life was not their problem. From daughter-in-law who called me burden. We were young, we were stressed, you were mean, I said quiet. And now you want me to forget because you need something from me. Tommy stood up, face red with anger. This is messed up, he said, voice breaking. Dad, you told us Grandpa Rob moved to Florida to see his brother. You said he did not want to see us. We never said that exactly. John started. Yes, you did. Caroline stood too, voice loud. You said he chose new life over family. You made us think he left us. I felt happy but sad too. These kids lied to 6 years robbed of Grandpa because parents too proud to say what they did. There is more you should know, I said soft. About 6 months after I moved out, your father came to see me. Victoria head snapped to John. What you did not tell me, I asked John, surprised. How interesting. John sweating now, shirt sticking to back. Dad, please. He came to my room Tuesday night. I went on watching Victoria face. He had been drinking, crying, said he missed me, made big mistake, wanted me to come home. You lie, Victoria said, but voice shaky. I pulled phone, scrolled to old photo. I took picture of letter he wrote that night. Want me to read it? Letter was 3 pages long, writing on lined paper. John said sorry for letting Victoria make him throw me out. Said he missed me. House felt empty. He chose wife's comfort over dad's good. But worst part, last paragraph, he begged me not tell Victoria about visit, because she said she would leave if he brought me back. How did Rob get that letter? The truth would shock them all. He chose you, I told Victoria, calm. He chose keeping you happy over doing right by his dad, and for 6 years lied to all of you about it. Victoria turned to John, face full of anger. You went behind my back. You wrote him letter. I was drunk. John mumbled. I was not thinking clear. No, I said. You thought clear for first time in months. That scared you. Caroline cried now. 6 years, she whispered. We missed 6 years with you because of their lies. But here is thing, I said, standing up, fixing my shirt. I am not same guy thrown out 6 years ago. That guy was broken, needed help. took crumbs from people who saw him as burden. I walked to window looking at my nice land. This guy owns big business. This guy has friends who respect him. Workers who need him money. That makes more in 1 month than your dad made in whole year when he had job. I turned to them. This guy needs nothing from anyone, especially people who threw him away like trash, and now want to live in his house because they messed up their lives. Silence until Tommy spoke, voice small. So you do not want family with us, even now. We know we were lied to. Question hurt me, but I kept face straight. I want family with you. And Caroline. You are innocent in this. But your parents. I looked at John and Victoria. Your parents must earn their way back to me if they can. Victoria stood up, mask of fake nice gone. This is crazy, she snapped. We are family, Rob. You cannot pick which parts you want. Watch me, I said, calm. Fine, Victoria voiced loud. You play games, punish us for 6 years ago, we leave. Come on, John, kids, we do not need this. But Caroline did not move. Tommy did not move. They sat on my nice sofa looking at parents and me confused, hurt. Actually, Caroline said quiet, I want to stay talk to Grandpa Rob alone. Caroline, we leave, Victoria ordered. No, Caroline voiced strong now. I am 16. I just found out you lied to me 6 years about my grandpa. I want to hear his side. Tommy nodded. Me too. Victoria looked about to explode, but John put hand on her arm. Maybe give them time, he said quiet. Do not take his side. Victoria hissed at him. I take no side, John said. But he looked at me like maybe sorry. I think what is best for kids. For 1 second I saw a man who wrote letters 6 years ago. Son torn between wife and right thing. But moment passed fast. Fine, Victoria said. But we not done, Rob. We come back. No, I said strong. You not? Not unless asked. This my house, my land. I have great security. If you come unasked, I call police for trespassing. Victoria's face turned red. You cannot keep us from kids. I keep no one from anyone, I said. But I will not let you use kids to make me feel bad. Caroline and Tommy welcome here any time. You and John not until you show you changed. Show how? John asked. I thought careful. Start telling kids full truth about 6 years ago. Not your story, not Victoria's story. The truth. Then fix your money problems without asking me help. Show you can stand on your own like grown-ups. You say you are. Then maybe we talk about saying sorry. Maybe. I smiled cold. But do not wait long. After they left, I sat with Caroline and Tommy 2 hours answering questions, showing photo books from John's childhood, listening to their school friend dreams. They were good kids despite parents' mistakes. I saw pieces of boy I raised in both. Can we come next weekend? Caroline asked as I walked them to door. Anytime you want, I promised. I have 6 years of grandpa time to catch up. As I watched car drive down my long road, I felt something not felt in years. Full happy feeling, not revenge but fair. People who threw me away now begging for help while man they threw away lived in fancy house they could never buy. I proved thrown away does not mean worthless. Sometimes it means free to find your real worth. And sometimes best revenge is living well. Next morning I called Diane, told her visit. How you feel? She asked after I told all. I looked at my nice land, sipped coffee from fancy cup, smiled. I feel like I am exactly where I belong. Finally. Some wins are quiet. This one perfect. Thanks for listening. Do not forget to subscribe and share your story in comments. Your story matters for us.